You, the people, have the power. The power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world.
We don't sleep to dream, we sleep to build stamina, energy to do our thing. Get your camera up. This show is about to begin, so sit down and buckle it in. Let's go! Woo! Let's go! Yeah! My name is Brian. That is Shane, and you are watching the BRANE Show, and we should be live on all three, YouTube, X, and Rumble. And I'm pretty sure that's the case. Let me adjust my camera a little bit because I'm a little frazzled. There we go.
Yeah, right. Now you look better.
How you doing today, Shane?
Yeah, the day's already gone, and we're here doing it in the evening. Thank you so much. Brian said he went to his proctologist, which was very cool. And I appreciate you taking the L on that one. The actual reason we're late today is because I had a function I couldn't avoid, which was not the proctologist. So, are they even called proctologists?
I actually did go to a proctologist appointment.
Did you really?
I wasn't going to bring it up, but now you're going to make me a liar if I don't. So.
I thought you were just
yeah, you thought I was making a joke. No, when you were like, "Oh, we gotta push it," I'm like, "Well, I was gonna push this appointment that I didn't want to go to anyways." So
let's just hope your doctor didn't push anything. Bad. Just move on.
Yeah, I'm lucky it was a female. That's all I'm gonna say.
I don't know if I could do that.
Okay, I didn't.
I just don't know if I could.
I didn't.
All right, cough. Turn your head.
All right. Anyways,
what's up, everybody out there? Thanks for sticking around and waiting for us on your Saturday. And we got some really great stuff to go over today. Brian, what do we got going on today?
Oh, we got a lot of good stuff, but I'm gonna fix this room quality real quick because you're looking pretty gassed. There you go. That's better. Okay. Actually, let me adjust it again, just to make sure the stream doesn't stop. We are talking about Trump meeting with the LA mayor.
That was funny.
Yep. The whole Davos convention thing, which, by the way, just looks like a world convention of villains. We're going to talk more about that.
Whoa.
It's like when you watch these spy movies and all the bad guys get together for an auction. It looks like that, bro.
Yeah.
Also, Trump went to West North Carolinas and hit the FEMA suspension. Also, apparently Elon's a Nazi. That's a whole thing. We got to talk about that.
That really wrecked my week. I'm not gonna lie.
Right.
It really frustrated me this week.
Yeah, spent a long time on that. Also, the Stargate project and why it could be the most important thing of our generation, and leaked alien eggs and all the weird,
that didn't sound right,
bizarre, crazy stuff. We got a thread from 4chan. We got the interview. We got all kinds of stuff.
I have a new realization about all this too that I want to share when we get there.
Now, before we get there, I would like to invite everyone to remember we're demonetized on YouTube. So if you do want to support us, if you are like, these guys they're informed, they're funny, that one guy is handsome, I want to support them in some way, but I can't do super chats here because super chats don't work when we're demonetized. Well, you can always do Rumble things, but you can also go to our store on mixtees.com, mixtees.com/brain. And Shane will put that in the chat. And you can go down here, boom, click on our link, and you can get one of our awesome products. Shane is actually wearing this shirt right now. Shane, show him your shirt, bro. Look at that. Gen X, speak your mind. I can handle it.
I can handle it.
And next week, I'll be wearing this beautiful hat. And it comes in multiple colors. Black for all the straight edges out there. For all the weirdos. Black neon pink. Go for it. Hey, no shaming. Whatever.
You totally judged.
This one is pretty cool. My wife wants that one, and that's the one I'll be wearing next week. So I hope that you can support us. And if you can't, just you being here is support enough.
Yeah, hit the like button for us. There you go.
Yeah, hit the like button and share button. I have a question for you guys. For everyone watching now, put this in the chat for everyone watching on archive. The Oscars are coming up, and there's a plethora of movies I've never watched nor I've heard of. So do me a favor. If you've seen any of the Oscar-worthy movies, I would like to put your recommendations for me to watch in the comments if you're watching this on archive, because I would like to know, because like I've never heard of any of these movies.
What's the request again?
Go look at the Oscar nomination list and tell me the best one to watch, because I've never heard of a single one of those movies.
For this year. Okay.
For this
year.
year.
The Substance you need to watch.
Oh, I think I did watch that.
Since do not watch it around children.
Moore?
Demi Moore, and yeah.
It's like a Michael Cronenberg type movie, right?
Don't watch it around kids.
Right.
But seriously, that's like a movie you got to watch. It's a freaky movie.
Gotcha.
And I think it's probably worth being on the Oscar list.
Cool.
That's up for best picture.
But is it better than Section 31, Shane?
I don't know. I didn't watch Section 31. I know you did.
Fair enough. I did watch it. Okay, man. Let's jump into this thing. You ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay. Where's that mayor thing? I want to start with the mayor. So hold up. Let me find it.
What's Wicked doing up here for best picture? Give me a break.
I could have sworn I linked that. Oh, yeah.
Strange Darlings needs to be up here. It's not. If you guys haven't seen Strange Darlings, you need to see that this year. That's a weird movie. Great movie. Best movie of the year, probably.
Is it?
100%.
Okay. Okay. Let's jump right into it. We're going to talk about Trump's visit to Los Angeles, where he met with the mayor. We have a short clip from that. I got to say, I did see all the memes when he met Gavin Newsom on the tarmac, and he shook his hand, and they zoomed in on Gavin Newsom's hand, and it was all destroyed.
Yeah, it's such a funny story, because Gavin was not invited to meet him at the tarmac. But Gavin decided he was going to basically meet him, because at this point with Gavin Newsom, what's happening with the fires in Los Angeles, and you got to give the guy credit. He understands his political life. Right. And there's a famous line from a movie. I can't remember what it is at the top of my mind, but basically it is, you see that light blinking in my eye, that's the end of your, end of your life, basically. This fire situation with Newsom, if this is handled incorrectly, he will not only not be our governor any longer, but he definitely won't be running for president or any other office, because he's going to be looked at as a huge failure. So he's doing everything in his power to like really look like he's doing everything right. So he's like kissing the ring, because when he met Trump, he was kissing the ring. Yeah. And so was all of these other Los Angeles area folks. Dude, I got to tell you, I have never seen people it was such an interesting, probably the most interesting thing I watched all week was the 2-hour conference that he gave in California, Southern California. I watched the entire thing. No, that's not true. The alien thing was the most interesting thing I watched all week. That was the most interesting thing, yeah. But you guys got to understand, Trump has talked more in this first week as president, than Biden did in 4 years. Yep. It's really crazy how much he's talking to the media and stuff. So lots to break down here.
Yeah. So let's watch this clip. It's not very long, but it's it's pretty awesome. So it's probably my favorite clip of the day. We're gonna start with this one, because the way he just hands it to the mayor is just outstanding. We might fast forward a little bit, because I want to skim through all the minutia. Anyways, here it is.
Right.
We can, but we want you to be safe, and we want you to be back in your homes immediately.
But the people are willing to clean out their own debris. It doesn't cost a lot.
Yes, and they can.
You should.
And the context here, Trump is like, let them clean up their own debris. And the mayor keeps saying, oh, yeah, they could do that. They could do that. But we're going to get to a moment here where you realize they can't do that.
Yeah. Well, and there's more. We're going to explain that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll explain. Okay.
Let them do it, because by the time you hire contractors, it's going to be 2 years.
If a family...
The people are willing to get a dumpster and do it themselves and clean it out.
And they can
There's
do
not that much left. It's all incinerated.
That's right.
And, you know, it's just going to take a long time if you do. You can do some of it, but a lot of these people, I know that guy right there that's talking. I know my people. You'll be on that thing tonight, throwing the stuff away, and your site it'll look perfect within 24 hours, and that's what he wants to do. He doesn't want to wait around for 7 months till the city hires some demolition contract that's going to charge him $25,000 to do his lot. Yeah. I think you have emergency powers just like I do.
Yeah, she has emergency powers, right?
Yeah. So what's the problem is in California, when a fire's happened, they don't let them. The problem is they're not letting people back to their properties.
Right.
And the reason why, and there are all of these rules and laws about after this, that they're kind of afraid that it's dangerous for you. So they don't want to let you back in there. And then there has to be an environmental cleanup plan. Before you can clean it up, they have to go in and determine if there's some sort of environmental issues that allows it to be cleaned up. So it's a whole series of things that have to happen. It's red tape. And he talks about it a lot here, that you have to cut back on the regulations, basically, to allow these people just to start over, get their homes cleared and get them built. And that's what he's hammering the mayor over here. Do we have a clip on how he hammers her about the 18 months?
Yeah. So she is reiterating, oh, they can go do it. They can go do it. Well, we're going to find out pretty soon here. That's not exactly the truth.
And you can hear people in the background the whole time cheering the things he says. It's pretty funny.
Right.
They're at firefighters. There's firefighters in the audience.
Right.
Just heads up there.
Exercising my emergency powers. You have to exercise them also.
I did exercise them.
Because I looked, you have a very powerful emergency power, and you can do everything within 24 hours.
Yes. And if individuals want to clear out their property, they can.
You hear the crowd disagreeing with her?
Yeah, it's because they can't.
Because they can't. Here we go.
Yeah.
Well, yes, but you know that you will be able to go back soon.
Oh, you'll be able to eventually.
You can. Well, you will. Yeah, this is what's wrong with politicians. They lie.
They just lie.
They just lie, and then when somebody calls them on it, they basically push it aside and then move forward. There's no accountability for lying.
But you will be able to at some point in the future. Okay, let's move on to this.
Most important
week
thing
is
is
a
for
long
people
time.
to be safe.
They're safe. They're safe. You know what? They're not safe. They're not safe now. They're going to be much safer. A week is actually a long time, the way I look at it.
Because she said it could be as fast as a week. And he's like, wait a minute. Why is it?
What happened to now? What happened? They can do it now.
Yeah, what happened to that?
I watched hundreds. It's want to go in. The people are all over the place. They're standing, and I say, why aren't you going in? We're trying to get a permit. And the permit's going to take them. Everybody said 18 months. You said 18 months. You said 18 months.
That was last night.
And that was last night.
On that.
See, dude. Oh my God. Can I tell you guys something? As a Californian, as someone who has lived here my entire life, nothing pleases me more to see the bull crap. I'm using safe words. I want to add to see the bull crap called out in real time, and I want everyone to know that if President Trump had not been elected, and let's say that was Kamala sitting there, none of this would be called out. None of this information would be brought to light. There wouldn't even be this press conference. And if they had this meeting, it would be in private. Because they don't actually care about you. They don't care about you in this state.
No, they care about getting reelected.
Yes,
that's
they
what
care about re-election. They care about power.
Yeah.
And so none of
Somebody
this
said term limits. Term limits. Thank you, Christy.
100%.
That's exactly what it should be. Get him out of office.
Earlier, someone said these fires coup de grace Newsom, and if I remember, that's a gaming term. That's like a critical hit. It's gonna hurt them.
Yeah, they rolled a 20.
They wrote a critical 20. Yeah, in Dota and Han, a coup de grace is like a crit. All right, so the thing with this though is, had he not been elected, we wouldn't even be seeing this part of it, and all this being called out in real time. And nothing pleases me more to have him call that out, have the firemen in the building agreeing with him, and all the Democrats can do is just smile and nod. is
Yeah.
crazy because they can't do anything.
Because the
other
truth
than the
hurts.
brain,
Yeah.
because the truth hurts.
Well, they can't. They can't do anything because they don't want to. If they piss off Trump, then he's not going to give federal funding, right? He's going to cut off federal funding. So they know they got to be nice to him. And if he doesn't send federal funding, the state can't afford to take care of what's happened here.
Mhm.
And so then all the voters will be mad and they won't reelect these people. That's why they're all being nice to Trump.
That's why Newsom shows up at the tarmac and he's like, "Yes, sir.
Exactly.
No, sir. Right away, massa. Where's your bag, massa? Let me hold that bag for you." Oh, what a scummy son of a guy. Here.
Some son of a guy.
Right.
Yesterday.
Mr. President, we're going to be together next week, and during the interim, many of us are involved in, and Tom McClintock, who you know has been an expert on this for years.
That's right.
We are going to be putting conditions on the money that do two things: require that it be done timely and affordable, and then secondly, that we protect those who will come afterwards. As we speak, there are 6,000 acres burning in my district on the Mexican border. There will be more fires until we include in any disaster relief items which will prevent it or at least mitigate it from happening again. So you're going to see us proposing both of those.
Like water. Little things like
do
water.
that for them.
You know, the party of common sense. See, we're the party of common sense. You're
Sorry, I have to pause it because Trump is like a comedian because his timing is always so perfect. Like
Yeah.
water.
He just doesn't care. It's so interesting listening to him talk. He's very repetitive. Sometimes sometimes I kind of cringe a little bit. I'm like, oh, because he repeats himself so much.
Dude, I cut up that Davos clip to put on Twitter, and out of a 9-minute clip, I cut out all the repetitive stuff, and it was only a minute and a half.
Yeah, he's very repetitive.
He is.
But I don't know if he's harping on it. He's trying to zero in on it. I don't know exactly, but I do know that it's effective. And what we need is an effective president. And if that's what it takes to be, to get people to accomplish things and do things, then that's what we need to do. This is a very rare thing we're seeing. It's very rare that he gets in a room, that any politician or president gets in a room and makes all these people comfortable. Most presidents would get in this room and play nice. He just wants to solve problems. So it's huge benefit to Southern California right now.
You're completely right. And we're going to see the last part of this, which is the true coup de grace for Drew out there.
both of those.
like water. Little things like
do
water.
that for them.
You know, the party of common sense. See, we're the party of common sense. You're not, in all fairness. We like water to
You're
put
not.
out fires. It's really quite efficient. All right.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. President, I'm Jay Obernolte.
But like water. It's really quite efficient at putting out fires. Water.
There's one guy who wanted to argue with him down here on the left that was kind of past in front of this guy over here that was talking. And that guy with the glasses there that's kind of bald. And he got so offended because Trump basically shut him down. And he wanted to argue back with him a little bit, but Trump just rolled right over him.
Oh, the guy next to the other guy. I see him.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could tell he wanted to. Yeah. So the thing is this, and we're gonna talk a little bit more about just. I only want to finish these fires out because it's pretty important for us to do so. The thing about
Both of those.
Let me close this. The thing about these fires too is there's an incredible amount of misinformation, and there was a clip from CBS where he took that trip to West North Carolina, which we're gonna talk about, but they had to just sort of dig in on the fire thing because he mentions that California needs water, and if they're not gonna do better about their fire issues, then their federal funding is going to be cut. And so again, this clip right here, and we're going to button up this topic with this. This was him at a press conference in regards to North Carolina, right? Mm-hmm. But he touches on the water thing, and CBS immediately stops and goes after this thing. And I want you to see in real time the hypocrisy from CBS. I edited this to bring it down to a smaller clip so we wouldn't get copywritten, but you're going to see it in real time right now.
millions and millions of gallons of water. They're sending it out to the Pacific. Someday somebody's going to explain that one. In the meantime, they have no water in Los Angeles.
It's a claim he's made repeatedly on social media, saying California's governor could open up the water main and let the water flow into his dry, starving, burning state instead of having it go out into the Pacific Ocean.
I want to stop that. That's what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we live here. That's been happening for a very, very, very long time. There's movies made about this topic. The water has been flowing into the Pacific Ocean, a healthy majority of the water that we get every year. Someone needs to explain that at some point. What he just said, I want to know too. Someone explain that. We have theorized that it's probably some kind of water rights thing or involving power, but we don't really know. Why? Why is that happening? Well, here, CBS continues.
CBS News has fact-checked that claim. It is false.
Now,
experts have told CBS News.
I'm going to pause it. They said CBS has fact-checked that. It's false. That's 100% not false. That's what's happening. But what did they fact-check as false? Not the statement that he's pushing the water, that we are flooding the majority of our water into the Pacific Ocean. No.
Because that's true.
Because that's true. The fact check that they added, and I love how they fact checked that false, but the actual fact check has nothing to do with what he says. Here's what they're
intentionally trying to get you to believe that the water is the false part of it.
Right.
That's why they word it this way. It's a total fake out.
Yeah, it's like a legal document.
Is that additional water from other parts of the state would not have made a difference to the.
And that part's probably true.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay, but that wasn't the statement he made. You know, they're pinpointing this one time. No, but California has been without water for a very, very long time. And here is the rub. I want you guys to see this.
The firefighting response. Data shows most of California's reservoirs at or above historic levels.
A few moments later.
During those critical first few hours in Pacific Palisades, a reservoir built to offer protection was dry.
In the same report, they say that water levels in the reservoirs were at higher than normal levels. That's the data shows that.
Well, yeah, from San Luis Obispo or from Santa Barbara north, that's true. From the rains we had last year, that is true. From Santa Barbara south,
right,
that is not true.
Minutes later in the same report by the same guy. That's so crazy to me. Like, how can you with a straight face say that? Maybe he's not. Maybe he's just reading a teleprompter or something. But my God, dude, you contradict yourself in the same minute.
Well, it's just what do you expect anything else? Honestly,
I do.
Do you expect anything less?
I do.
From the mainstream news, you expect that?
I mean, I'll be honest.
Really, after all these years,
I don't know why, but I do. For some reason, I do expect better, and I don't know why I expect better, but I do. And maybe I should stop expecting anything better. Maybe it's always going to be crappy like this.
Yeah, until they stop. And essentially, environmentalists have made it so that we can't send water down the state because of it damages. This is the problem California has. And listen, the environment is an extraordinarily, important thing for us to care about. The environment's important, but
sure.
The problem is like when you're more concerned about a wildland creature than you are about thousands of homes burning down, then that's a problem, because one of the reasons why we can't clear brush in California is because environmentalists won't allow us to, because they're saying we're destroying the natural habitat of certain creatures in the forest land. Well, if you don't clear out that brush after about 18 months, it becomes brittle and a fire hazard, big time fire hazard.
Yeah. Hello?
And so all that brush was up against these neighborhoods. And so when the fire started, and we still don't know who started the fire, I'm suspecting arson. We had 6 fires this week. Listen to me. 6 different fires started within a 5-mile radius of my house.
That's wild.
They were put out, but what I recognize is most of them happen near homeless encampments. Okay. And I know that the news is not going to tell us that homeless people are starting fires. They don't want to do that.
Right.
They don't want to do it. But I have the very strong feeling that that's what's happening. And there's just too many fires. I believe that we've had 13 fires in the past 3 weeks, Brian. 13 fires.
It's crazy.
Out of control down here. And I do believe, I know for sure the 2 fires that were next to my house were started by homeless people. And I know that there was a giant homeless encampment south of here where there was another big fire. So, I mean, I know 3 of those fires at the very least were started by homeless people. And then we saw the guy who was arrested that had the portable incinerator, the portable igniter that was trying to light Christmas trees on fire that were piled up in a yard. And he was a homeless guy. So I don't know what's going on. Too many fires. It seems like we need some answers. And unfortunately, the news isn't going to give it to us. Hopefully we get somebody who goes undercover and starts to give us some of that information.
I agree. I'm going to fix your camera real quick before the next topic. Only because it's bothering me. And I got OCD, and it's not my fault.
Yeah, a whole new view of my room. Very nice.
Blame my genetics. Okay, there we go. All right, the next topic is... next topic is Davos. So, Trump did make a trip to the World Economic Forum, Davos 2025, and I'm gonna let you talk about this a little bit before we show the clip. But I'm a little weirded out by the whole concept of Davos, because it just seems, and I said this at the top of the show, it just seems like a convention for supervillains.
It looks like it, right?
It does. It looks like a convention for supervillains. I know it's about economies and all that, but every time I see it, and then you have like these guys, we need to show the people the economy. I'm like, oh my God, they talk like villains. They look like villains.
Well,
the giant.
That's funny. He has a German accent, so he talks like a villain.
I grew up with Indiana Jones. Like all the villains were.
No, I get it.
Germans. But yeah, Trump made a speech there. We're not going to show the whole speech, but there was a moment in the speech, where he gives it pretty handedly to Bank of America guy. Before we get to that, Shane, do you have any thoughts on the Davos thing?
Yeah, so just so you guys know what Davos is, it's the World Economic Forum. It's held in Switzerland. Davos is in Switzerland. And delegates from basically lots of different areas, probably the most wealthy and powerful people in the world and their corporations, they meet to talk about, it's basically like a giant Comic-Con for the rich and the wealthy.
Right.
And, and so one of the things is having, President Trump or somebody like that to speak at this is a really big deal for them. And he basically came to give an update. They would want him to normally come in person, which I think he has attended in person before, and he probably will likely attend in the future. But he basically this was like the first thing that happened after he was inaugurated, this Davos thing. And he basically just lays out everything he did. And he basically tells them, like, this is the way it's going to be from here on out.
Right.
And there were lots of comments made, like NATO needing to pay 5%, countries need to pay 5%, towards the overall fund. He said he's getting a terrible deal from Europe. He was just very harsh, I think, in this with everything that's happening.
Right.
But he specifically attacks Bank of America, which I think is hilarious. So if you want to play that.
Okay. We will play that right now.
We look forward to.
And by the way, speaking of you, and you've done a fantastic job, but I hope you start opening your bank to conservatives, because many conservatives complain that the banks are not allowing them to do business within the bank. And that included a place called Bank of America. They don't take conservative business. And I don't know if the regulators mandated that because of Biden or what, but you and Jamie and everybody, I hope you're going to open your banks to conservatives, because what you're doing is wrong.
And now the guy's sitting up there.
Mr. President, I'll say that your friend.
Yeah, I love that.
The guy's up there.
Yeah, it's this guy. That pause, though, he's like, what you're doing is wrong. And there's a pause.
The moment of uncomfortableness.
And then the camera goes to this guy. And you can't see this on this feed, but on the CNN version, you can see there's actually P lining his pants, dripping down his leg.
Well, he doesn't answer him, which I think is very interesting.
No, he doesn't. This is what he says.
Gianni said hello, told me to tell you hello, and we look forward to.
And by the way, speaking.
That's pretty much all he said. He said basically that he doesn't respond to what he said. He just says, "Oh, good job on the World Cup."
I mean, there's not a lot that can be said. When Trump comes at you like that, the only thing you're going to do is make yourself look bad, I think, by arguing back with him.
Yeah, another thing, and I wanted to pull this clip, but when I uploaded it to YouTube to make sure it wasn't copyright claimed, it got copyright claimed immediately. Because you know what the World Economic Forum needs more of? Money. The richest people in the world at a forum, they need more of your money. Because the second I put that clip up, it got copyright claimed. But there was a clip where he talks about the war. I'm not sure if you saw this, Shane. But he's like, we need to stop these wars. It's horrible in Ukraine, blah, blah, blah. He goes, and we need to stop war. And then he pauses, and you expect there to be like applause or something. Crickets.
Nothing. Yeah, that's true.
Because no one gives a crap about stopping the wars. In fact, there's probably a lot of people there that are invested in the wars.
Oh, 100%. Wars make people richer. I mean, I believe he even said that.
Right. He did.
Wars make people richer. So it's tough. The banks have denied the fact that they actually keep conservatives from banking. I think one of the reasons why is a lot of conservatives have they've been debanked. I know most of the J6ers were debanked. And I think that's a big part of what he's talking about. These banks are not actually, I think if I went down and I'm a Republican, I'm pretty sure I can get a bank account right now. So, but if you're an activist, if you're an activist conservative, then there's a chance that you might be targeted by the bank. I think that's what he's saying.
Right. No, that's what he's saying. He's not saying that if you're a Republican, Bank of America is going to deny you. Guys, I use Bank of America, and I'm a Republican.
Right.
At least on documentation, I'm actually a libertarian more in my viewpoints, but conservative for sure, traditionalist for sure. But I think activists, they just get debanked. You know what's worse than getting demonetized or deplatformed or censored is losing your ability to make money, store money, and do commerce. That is the ultimate form of cancellation. And just to remember this, like, I am not a simp for Kanye West. But Kanye West was not just deplatformed. When that dude went like full on Nazi on Alex Jones, when he made Alex Jones uncomfortable, which is really hard. I don't know if you recall this. He's sitting there, he's like, yeah, but Alex, Netanyahu, and Alex Jones is like, oh shit. God, you don't mean actually like Hitler was great, right? He's like, no, Hitler was amazing, and he's like, oh god damn it, oh god. if you make Alex Jones uncomfortable, then you might be extreme.
I'm still reeling from Sandy Hook. Help me out here.
He's like, oh my god damn it, pause this. But when he did that though, he didn't just get deplatformed, bro. They took his ability to do business away. They removed his bank accounts. Companies that should have no political headway, no actual opinion from yes, the people inside the companies do, but the companies themselves should have no a political sway. They shouldn't be showing an opinion. They debanked him. They removed his ability to do commerce. That is crazy when you think about all the horrible people out there that have murdered people, that have gunned down civilians, really wicked people that still had access to a bank account. And Kanye West, because he said something bad about Jews and something good about the other guys, was debanked. By the way, I'm Jewish. I can say this. So the thing is, works? Yeah, that's how it works. The thing is, though, that's nuts. That is the worst possible. Other than killing you, that's the worst thing. And you know what? I would. It comes to a point where I would much rather just be put in prison than debanked, because you can't. You're. What am I going to live on the streets now? Like how do you work with this?
Oh, you'll just do Bitcoin now. It's all good.
Yeah. I mean, how do you get that?
We're
cash?
not there yet.
Yeah.
We're not there yet.
Yeah.
So Republicans have accused big banks of debanking gun makers and fossil fuel companies. In 2018, Bank of America instituted a rule to stop lending money to gun manufacturers that make military-style weapons. In 2023, that rule was clarified to say these clients and transactions must go through an enhanced due diligence process and be escalated to the next level. That's just another way of saying, look, we don't believe in this, so we're not going to give you money for it. And when you have banks that start to become political, then what are you supposed to do?
That's not your decision to make. You're a bank. Your job is to bank, nothing else. You cannot you cannot choose who your customer is based on their political opinions. That's insane. You know, I was watching Landman the other day, and there was a great scene. I think I shared it on Twitter, where the guy, the head of one of the oil companies is like, "Listen, these crunchy liberals want to complain about our product. We are not choosing what our product is used for. You want a cleaner engine? Go build it. We don't make engines.
Right.
You want better plastic? Make better plastic. We are supplying a product. You are mad at the wrong people. You're mad at the people that are supplying the product used as the base, for basic manufacturing. Be mad at the companies that are making dirty engines, bad plastic, whatever. You're mad at the wrong people. Banks should have no opinion whatsoever on what someone does for a living. They just should.
Well, and honestly, I think it opens up room for another bank to take advantage. So if Bank of America doesn't want to give loans to conservatives, well, I would just start a bank that gives loans to conservatives, and I'll make a ton of money.
Right.
So the free market should correct everything, but unfortunately, the way that if one bank, the other bank's like, well, I better do that too. So that you end up with this big conglomerate of people making the same choice, same problem we've had with the media, right? And then the free market isn't able to kind of balance everything out. Right. And that's the problem we have with this kind of thing. So,
right. All right. That's a good point.
Thanks.
All right. So, speaking of which, last topic on Trump's crazy week. Let's talk about Western North Carolina, because this is a big deal. President Trump did make his way to Western North Carolina, and if you recall, and I think the LA fires have definitely overshadowed what happened in the Carolinas, but it's a pretty big deal. And I'll show you a brief clip of the devastation. And they were sort of forgotten by the federal government. If you recall, President Biden was like, "Hey, here's $775. Good luck." Oh, you lost your house, your business, your car, everything. You're living in a shelter 2 states away on borrowed blankets. Here's $775, and just it's a loan. Like, that's what the federal government did for these people. FEMA came in and tried to take all kinds of credit for stuff that the locals were doing, and FEMA was doing nothing. FEMA took hotel rooms away from the survivors so that their bloated staff can have places to sleep instead of the people that were surviving the devastation.
Right.
Anyways, here's some of the devastation firsthand here, bros.
Body like God's got me bleeding red.
Hold on, I can't play this music. Come on, dude. Demonetized. Further demonetized. This is some of the flooding. Look at this. Holy moly. This is now, bro. This is still happening.
That's now?
No, that's not all now.
I was like, what?
I'm sorry, but there's part of these clips are still still crazy flooded.
Yeah, they went through some really bad stuff.
Right.
So we had the problem. We'll get to remember. Okay, recap. We had the problem with FEMA, basically, at least in one situation where one of the leaders in FEMA were telling their people to avoid Trump sign houses. This was during the election. Don't go to people who have Trump signs in their yards. Like, that's a huge problem. And FEMA makes things more difficult. FEMA is actually a really great thing for the government to have. But what Trump is saying here Now, he initially said, he wanted to get rid of FEMA in North Carolina. That's what he initially said. And I think that was taken wrong out of context because they weren't helping. They were actually making things worse in North Carolina. So then it's gone to maybe he'll redo FEMA altogether or get rid of FEMA, is what he said. Now, here's the deal. FEMA has a relief fund of $110 billion with $29 billion in like a response and recovery process, like which they're using right now. That's $1 billion with a B. Okay.
Right.
What Trump wants, and this is the way it should be. The states fix their own problems, and then the government supports the state. But what has happened in recent years is FEMA comes in and just kind of takes over the whole thing. And then the state is like a pauper with its hands out, just trying to get as much federal money as possible. And what Trump's saying is listen, you as a state need to do your best to mitigate all of this stuff. You come in, you have the people, you have the process, and then the federal government will support you.
Right.
Okay. As opposed to the federal government just solve all your problems. We all know that's not what the federal government is supposed to be about.
Right.
You live in a state that has its own government. It's supposed to solve your problems. Federal government's there to back up. So that's what he's talking about doing. And, I don't think there's a lot. I think it's actually a really good idea, what he's talking about doing. I don't think you should get rid of FEMA. I think you need FEMA, but I definitely think it needs to be regulated. It needs to be changed overall.
Well, I'm not saying get rid of FEMA, but it needs to be restructured because right now FEMA is not operating at its best. And it was actually a detriment to the people of North Carolina. In fact, when they actually asked for a response from them, they had been asking since December, FEMA said, we're currently responding to the California wildfires. And like, well, you weren't responding to the California wildfires last month, though, or the month before that. So what's the excuse there? I mean, there's too many. FEMA is too slow to move, and they're too bloated.
It's a bureaucracy.
Right.
Of course it is.
Here's some of the stuff they said about it.
They were responding to the California fires and would meeting. Administrator Deanne Criswell in November holds some clues about the systemic problems in play.
I was there. My area was very hard hit. It should not be up to disaster survivors to navigate the bureaucratic labyrinth in their time of need.
Congresswoman Fox, I completely agree that our programs can be very complicated, and I have worked hard over the last 3.5 years to try to minimize the bureaucracy.
All right. Here's some more stuff. Here's the actual interview.
I'm a pastor Nix, our church.
I love this too. Trump talked briefly, and then he stepped aside and let a bunch of the actual victims talk.
As it should be.
Right down the road, we had only purchased in May. And it's a big church. We're a small congregation. And I had people say, what are you going to do with this big building? And I said, only God knows. And we had our dedication, and the storm came the next week. And the outpouring of people, my son brought the first load of supplies. And from there, I stayed there for about 3 months. I slept on the floor for about 3 weeks because the need was so great. The people were so devastated, and I said, I want to be here for them. And they were coming in just day and night, so there's really no need for me to go home. But we had people from Kentucky, Tennessee, Texas, Indiana, Oklahoma, people from all over. We have not received any help, like from the government or anything. But I said, Lord, if you want us to do that, people
So they came from
all over the states.
But FEMA did nothing.
FEMA did nothing. Now, I want to reiterate. I found so many stories from different people with pretty much the same exact story, where FEMA was nowhere to be seen, or they got in the way, and the help they got were from other people, local people, and people from neighboring states. People coming in with their bulldozers and their equipment and just freely, moving things off the road, cleaning up, looking for survivors, fixing people's homes, bringing in donations to buildings that were still standing so people can sleep. And all FEMA did, from their perspective, is either get in the way or take up space. And I know FEMA is an important thing, okay? But what I don't understand is why so many people keep defending him when this disaster was clearly and thoroughly mismanaged by FEMA, to the point where President Trump is now removing FEMA from the equation, and the National Guard and the Army Corps of Engineers are going in there to make changes.
Well, and that's the problem. This specific, it's different in every place you go. Okay, for North Carolina, it's a very rugged, difficult area, and I don't think FEMA was prepared to do all of the things that needed to be done. And you had all these people with their own helicopters and their own, boats, who were able to go in, and that FEMA was getting in the way because those people said, we can help them. And FEMA was saying, well, it's our job. It's our responsibility to help them. You guys shouldn't be here. But FEMA didn't have what they needed to support them in that situation. So, I think, when you're talking about FEMA, like, okay, let's take Katrina, for example, the Hurricane Katrina that destroyed New Orleans, right? Back in 2008, I think it was, or earlier, a little earlier than that, or later than about 2008. Well, when Hurricane Katrina came through, FEMA responded, but guess who else also went and responded down there? Tons of military organizations like the Seabees went over there, who were really good at excavating, doing construction. That when the federal government has the assets to do that under certain agencies, they're able to go in and kind of facilitate and help people. They were not prepared for North Carolina. And they have so much money. I mean, I think FEMA needs to come in and they need to say, okay, we're going to come in here. We have the money to support these people. Do we need to build a temporary shelter for them to stay in? Do we need to make sure there are places for people to go? How do we make sure, A, that lives are saved, and B, property is secured as much as possible? And then C, how do we help them, help the state, help their people rebuild and get back what they've lost through natural disasters? I mean, that should be the way FEMA works. And I think FEMA has gotten to their head where they're like, we're the disaster preparedness people, get out of our way. And then they don't do a good enough job when they get there. So I think they've done a much better job in California than they did in North Carolina. But like I said, it depends on, California wasn't that complicated for FEMA to come in and deal with. All the firefighters were doing the saving. Nobody was drowning here.
Right.
So they didn't have to worry about this. Situation is horrible.
Right.
And FEMA may not have been prepared to go in and rescue people from flooding.
That makes a lot of sense. One more interesting thing that I saw. This is from Matt Van Swall, and he said, "Let me get this." I'm sorry, I clicked in by accident. Let me get this straight. Actually, there you go. Let me get this straight. Oh, there we go. Let me get this straight. The U.S. had zero money for us Western North Carolina, yet we absolutely had billions to send to Ukraine. Then Trump takes office, and now magically we don't have to send billions to Ukraine, and Western North Carolina gets help instantly. Make it make sense, basically.
Well, it's more complicated than that. Number one, Ukraine isn't getting $600 billion. Okay, and a lot of people, and this is the problem I have with politics and people, is everybody wants to make everything seem simple, right? Most of that $600 billion goes to basically Ukraine is buying our old weapons. So all the money is actually going to our weapons manufacturers, most of it.
That's true.
Okay. You can't equate money going to Ukraine for support there was enough money to help North Carolina. Okay. But it just was improperly used. So, it's a total failure by FEMA in this situation. And so when Trump says he needs to overhaul it, that's what he needs to do. Not get rid of FEMA. He doesn't have anything to replace it with. He needs to overhaul it. He needs to put somebody in charge. And that's something that he gets to do, by the way, through his new Homeland Security person, the governor of Christy.
Okay.
She'll be able to appoint somebody to run FEMA, and they need to have, specific rules. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to deal with it. and they need to partner with the states to make it happen.
Agreed. Okay. All right, let's move on from this and let's talk about Trump's favorite topic. Oh, sorry, Shane's favorite topic right now. Is Elon a Nazi?
This is driving me crazy.
Shane,
man.
is Elon a Nazi?
This is absolutely driving. No, he's not a Nazi.
Are you sure? Because that's
the
what
fact
everyone's
that,
telling me.
yeah.
Elon's a Nazi.
I know. Well, the problem is that Elon is, listen, Elon, if you've ever heard Elon talk publicly, you already know there's something a little weird about him. Okay.
Right.
He's not comfortable. He has a lot of confidence because he's the richest man in the world, pretty much. And
I'm back. I see it. I see him clicking through. There he is. Shane, you back?
Can you hear me?
I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
I'm getting some weird audio.
You are? How about now? Is that better? Are you still getting some weird audio?
I'm getting some weird. It sounds like from a news source. Oh, it's me. I'm like, I had a news page. You know how sometimes when a news thing just starts playing on some random thing and you're like, you can't find it, some ad starts playing somewhere.
Right.
So were we down? What happened?
Yeah, you got disconnected. Can you sort of start from the beginning of that? Because it was fading, really fading out. Basically, I asked you, Shane, is Elon a Nazi? And you respond with,
yeah. So listen, he's very awkward when he's talking, and the reason why is he's autistic. He's not polished. He's very confident because the dude has all the money in the world and he's accomplishing all these things, and so he kind of attacks his speaking, his public speaking, with the same type of thing. But the problem is he doesn't really know what to do with himself, and so he wanted to tell everybody, "I give my heart to you." When Trump, just before this, Trump was talking about we're going to put the American flag on Mars. Okay. When Trump said he's going to put the American flag on Mars, they panned to Elon, and Elon was just besides himself, dude. He looked like he lit up the entire room with how excited he was by what Trump said.
Right.
And so he was just really happy. And when he went down there to the podium to talk, thank you. I want to thank you, everyone, because they're the ones who voted for Trump. They're the ones who are making this possible for Elon to be in this moment.
Right.
And he says, I give my heart to you. And he did it in such an over exaggerated demonstration of giving it to you.
I have the clip. Do you want to see it?
Yeah. He was just being over the top. And that's what autistic people do when they're trying to make sure you understand what it is that they're doing.
Right.
Now, does it look like a Heil Hitler? Yes, it does.
A little bit.
It does look like it.
But to be fair, I have examples of other people doing the same thing.
Right. But yeah.
Right.
But he's been previously accused of being anti-Jew, being anti-Semitic.
Here is the clip.
Yeah.
There are elections that come and go. Some elections are
Play the whole thing.
Important, some are not, but this one this one really mattered, and I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you. My heart goes out to you. It is thanks to you that the future of civilization is assured.
Okay.
All right. So you know what's interesting too is not everyone had the same.
There are
Sorry, start playing again. Not everyone had the same exact clip. Some people only showed they actually cut away when he first did that initial salute. But PBS got it. The thing is, this is not unique. Plenty of politicians do this exact, and award receivers and musicians do this exact thing. They just don't do it quite as stiff as Elon does it.
Right. And honestly, if you watch that, if you're a reasonable human being, and I'm speaking to all of you reasonable people out there, if you watch that, does that tell you that Does that make you think that he's a Nazi because he stuck his hand out like that?
Right.
Does that, so the problem is CNN came out right after that with the headline, Elon Musk gives Nazi salute. That's exactly what the headline was.
Right.
So then everybody just took that headline and just assumed that it was true. Most people never watched the entire thing. Most people never got the context. Most people, everybody who's on the left hates Elon Musk because he supported Trump. The other people hate him because he's rich. He's a pretty hated guy.
Right.
And so they immediately went after him. Now, here's why it drove me crazy all week. Because I'm used to people being unreasonable. But I am a huge... Am I gone again?
No, you're here.
I'm here? Okay. My internet's not working on the left here.
Oh, okay.
So hopefully it's still going. But I'm a huge... I've been using the Miami Dolphins subreddit for about 8.5 years. I joined about 8.5 years ago. Okay. So Reddit all of a sudden decided to go on this X attack where they're banning all links from X in many subreddits. It wasn't Reddit itself. It was the little owners of the subreddits making these decisions.
Right. The mods.
And then all of a sudden my subreddit did it. Now this is football, guys. It's not politics. It's just football. And I love being there because there are no political discussions. It's, you love the Miami Dolphins and screw everybody else. That's great. But all of a sudden the mods were like, we need to ban X because Elon Musk is a Nazi.
Right.
And that's it, man. It absolutely upset me and I couldn't take it. And honestly, the unreasonableness, I'm like, hey, all of you people, you saw it, right? You're telling me you think he's a Nazi? And yes, man, 70 to 80% of the people on there were like, yes, he's a Nazi. Absolutely. Look at what he did. I just can't deal with the unreasonableness of human beings. And so this whole thing's been an issue.
So when Shane brought up the Reddit thing to me, I went to Reddit and started doing some investigation. And I wasn't the only one. I actually found a guy whose literal name on there is researcher, and he takes a bunch of time to research trends on Reddit. Right, Shane?
Yeah.
And he noticed something. Subs like Baldur's Gate, who have, about 1,000 people online, somehow had a post, that same exact post that you're seeing in every subreddit. Sorry, that one. Somehow had, 45,000 upvotes. Smaller subs that only have a couple thousand active users at all somehow have 16, 20,000 upvotes. People that were posting the opposite were being shadow banned and deleted. So the way Reddit works is so frustrating because you think it's like this open platform where you can express your opinion, comment on a picture or a meme or whatever. But in reality, most of the subreddits on Reddit are owned by the same, 8% of moderators.
How is that possible? Is it because moderators want power?
Yes.
So do they go and try to become mods of all these subreddits? Is that what it is?
That's what it is. And let's say pics or slash pics, they can literally go in there and they'll convince the mod of that sub, hey, I think you need help moderating your sub. You don't want to get in trouble with Reddit. If they post things that are going to get you in trouble, let me help you. And those mods of those up and coming subs will give mod powers to experienced mods that are mods of other popular subs, not knowing their politics or that they're actual fascist, right?
Yeah.
So they go, yeah, here, help me mod this channel. Thank you so much. And then that mod goes, hey, I need a couple more help. I need some help with my mods. And they get some of their buddies to come in. And then all of a sudden, there are more moderators of that particular group of moderators than the original moderators that started the channel. And what's the first thing they do? Start removing the moderators that were in charge of that channel until that one group owns that popular channel. And they've done that for a decade. they just go from channel to channel. If it's up and coming, if it's popular, that moderator group takes it over. Reddit knows about this, and they do nothing about it because it's not breaking terms of service. The few subs out there that have not been overcome, like r/Dota, r/conspiracy, are people that have either they're international, they're tuned to international audiences, or they have a more libertarian outlook. So they don't get banned by Reddit, and they don't allow mods to take over. But that is becoming few and far between, my friend. So even football subreddits like r/Dolphins, r/Star Trek, r/insert here, the second it starts to get popular, it becomes completely overrun by this moderator group that is made up of about 40 people, and they own 83% of every subreddit on Reddit.
Well, yeah, so it was very interesting because our subreddit has never been political, and when political stuff starts to happen, the moderators pretty much shut it down.
Right.
So it was really odd because somebody posted, it was not somebody who's typically on there. So I checked it, and it was an LGBTQ poster who's not typically on the Miami Dolphins subreddit, who posted to the Miami Dolphins subreddit that we need to get rid of the X. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of weird. So the moderators came out, and they're like, let us know how you guys feel about it. And all of a sudden, there were all these posts about, get rid of that Nazi, just tons of them all coming out. Yeah, and I'm just like, this seems really weird. And then all of a sudden,
bots, bro. Bots
the next day, right? So the next day, the moderators said, we talked about it. We went and looked and spoke to other Reddit channels to see what they were doing, and we decided to ultimately ban X. And that's when I said, oh, I can't do this anymore. So
Right.
after 8.5 years, I'm done with that subreddit.
Yeah, and that research that I was telling you about, he made a comment that was, by the way, it was downvoted, but I had to click through. Luckily, the guy has so much built-in karma that he wasn't completely removed, but it was downvoted. So somebody even used a bot account to downvote his posts that it would be hidden, so people would be forced to click on show to see it. And he said that the vast majority of the people posting that exact post are accounts that are new or have been inactive. So more than likely, there is a coordinated effort on Reddit and using bot networks by a few people to sway the opinion of the many.
Well, it worked because now I would say most subreddits on Reddit have banned any Twitter links to their subreddits.
Oh
It's done.
no. No one cares.
Which I don't really care. It was the point that my subreddit was making a political choice.
Right.
Which on what would be a politically neutral subreddit. I've never given any of my opinions about politics. We just talk football. And I just thought that, I already know how Reddit is. And it was really disappointing to me that the place that I like to hang out was going that way. And I know that Drew mentioned, I think the same thing happened to him on the Green Bay Packers subreddit, which is a shame because we're not there to do politics. And I'm just shocked at how many people are there. We've really gotten to the point in our country where it seems like politics are just in everything. And it's a shame because Elon Musk isn't a Nazi. Elon Musk went to Jerusalem and went to the Weeping.
Oh, I just dropped Shane by accident. I'm sorry. Hold up, Shane. I screwed up while he was talking. That was really bad. I'm sorry, bro. Damn it.
It's all right.
I heard
my back.
Yeah, I heard we went to the weeping and then you got cut off.
Yeah, he went to the Weeping Wall. He spent time with Benjamin Netanyahu. I mean, he posted something on X that people took as anti-Semitic, but the reality is he's not anti-Semitic at all. And anybody same people trying to do this are the same people trying to say Trump said racist statements in Charlottesville. The same thing, they're taking it out of context intentionally because their side lost or they want people to do it. And I just don't understand human beings who are okay with passing lies or believing lies, or, I mean, you can lie to yourself pretty easily, but holy shit, like how can you be that disingenuous.
Right.
So people either believe it because somebody told them, and now they're just doubling down on it. And I think it's just a shame. It won't affect Elon one way or the other, honestly. All it's affecting is my feelings about humanity and my belief in the fact that people can't be free thinkers. And it's just very, it's very unsettling. And I hate the fact that people are this way. So,
yeah, so do I. That sucks. All right, well, let's get out of this topic. Let's talk about the news that is possibly going to lead to the Terminator or the Borg, the Matrix. Pick your dystopian robotic overlord movie or TV show and insert here, because we got Project Stargate. The Stargate Project, announced by Trump, and I'll show that short announcement here. And we're going to talk about what happens and why it's either incredibly important to mankind, specifically the United States, or why it's a complete waste of money. Here's the announcement.
It's my honor to welcome 3 of the world's leading technology CEOs and to announce the largest AI infrastructure project by far in history. And it's all taking place right here in America. As you know, there's great competition for AI, and they're coming in at the highest level. We're joined by Oracle Executive Chairman Larry Ellison, SoftBank CEO, my friend Masa Yoshi-san, and CEO of OpenAI, and I would say by far the leading expert based on everything I read, Sam Altman. So that's great that you're coming in together. That's a massive group of talent and money together.
If it sounds choppy, it's because I cut out the 9 minutes of him not talking about the announcement.
That's my one criticism of Trump. It's the repetitiveness. Yeah. I wish he would. I don't know.
He was like,
I just wish he would.
Larry, and he goes, Larry's a pretty good golfer, and Larry and I go way back, and he's the CEO. I'm like, wait.
What's your score now, Larry? What's your score?
Which isn't bad, I guess, but it was like, a lot of fluff.
World-leading technology giants are announcing the formation of Stargate, a new American company that will invest $500 billion at least. This monumental undertaking.
When he said that,
yeah.
When he said, I was okay. So just so you guys are aware, I've heard live everything Trump said all week this week, because basically on YouTube, anytime he goes live, I've got it. I find out what it is. So when he's sitting there talking, I'm typing, and all of a sudden he said Stargate, and I went, Roo? What? And it's of course because we're big Stargate guys,
right?
And I start listening to it, and the first thing I did is I'm Brian.
Trump's
building Stargate.
Brian, Trump is building a Stargate. I'm like, what? I'm like waking up. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? He's building a Stargate.
Come to find out, it's not what's happening. But I got really excited for a second.
Yeah, Shane literally called me. He's like, he's building a Stargate, bro. I'm like, what? Who's building a Stargate? He's taking over Giant Mountain. NORAD's becoming Stargate Command. This is happening.
It's happening. It's real.
Resounding declaration of confidence in America's potential. This is, to me, a very big thing. $500 billion Stargate project. I think it's going to be something that's very special. It'll lead to something that could be the biggest of all.
I'm going to stop it there. Okay. So why is this the biggest thing? Let me explain. AI is here to stay, folks. It's not a fad. A lot of people look at AI and they go, well, AI is, it's like crypto or NFTs, it's hit or miss, rug pull, and they start saying all the buzzwords. But actually it's not. AI is the next technology. That is the next thing. So I know it's hard to say that, because we've for years, Web 3.0 is the next thing. Crypto is the next thing. Integrated JavaScript, next thing. Flash. Okay, all right, I get it. This is actually the next thing. This is so much the next thing that if we are not on the forefront of this technology as a country, then we are doing a disservice to our citizens, and we will stop being the world power at some point. If China beats us in the race to AGI. What's AGI? You know what that is, Shane?
Explain it all, please, because I don't get any of this.
AGI is artificial general intelligence. Basically, an AI with the tools and the speed of an AI with the intelligence of an average person, right?
Mm-hmm.
So able to actually think, reason, right? All those things that a human can do, but with the speed of a computer, of an AI. So that is AGI. Well, what's after AGI is more important. That's ASI. That's artificial superintelligence. That's the same thing, but smarter than the average human. So a really smart one that can think not only faster, have access to all the tools that AIs have access to, but with the capability of a really smart human. So the thing is this. We're not the only ones working on this. China's working on this. I don't know where Russia's at, but I'm assuming they're working on it. Germany's working on it. Other countries are working on artificial intelligence, 100%. And if you think they're not, then your head's in a hole. Artificial intelligence seems like this buzzword thing, like ChatGPT. No, but it's actual AI. This is no longer just computers pretending to be chatbots. They're actually reasoning. And they're actually using neural networks to almost randomly decide the best way to respond. This is a huge thing, but we're so far. And I told Shane this on the phone like 2 months ago. We're like 20 years away from AGI, bro. No big deal. Remember that, Shane?
Yeah.
Because, we have the same worries. Well, the AI is the next, atom race, the race for the next nuke, right?
The Manhattan Project.
It's the next Manhattan Project. But is it gonna mess with us in our lives in our lifetime? Probably not. Until you take some of the biggest companies on the planet, team them up with the federal government, with a President Trump that has all 3 pillars of power and $500 billion worth of funding, a literal blank check basically, and say good luck. That's when This is when the race to AGI goes from 15, 20 years away to like 2 years away.
I wouldn't say that fast. Maybe 4.
Yeah, sure. But either way, it's
2.
We've upped the timetable times 10. Now, so either we are going to become the leaders of this very quickly, or we're going to waste $500 billion.
So a little bit about, and I don't really understand, and maybe Brian can better explain later about the AI specifically, but here's what I can tell you that we know about it so far. So Larry Ellison, one of the guys on that stage, basically claimed that the Stargate could lead to AI facilitated production of mRNA vaccines against cancer. And what's very interesting is that specifically robotically designed vaccines specific to you as an individual. So the way we build mRNA vaccines right now, or different types of things like that, it's for all of humanity, right? But this computer, this AI computer, will be able to look at your body, your genome, your system, and be able to design potentially a cancer vaccine specific to you,
tailor-made
in 48
for
hours.
Your physics. For
That's
your
incredible.
And think about this, like
for your physics, right?
Right.
So that's incredible.
Here, I'm going to take your DNA. I'm going to take what your problem is, your type of cancer, your background, and be able to tailor make this with a 3D printer and all the ingredients we need in a couple days, so that it's specifically made to take care of you and you only. Right now, we don't have the manpower or the time to tailor make a vaccine for one person, unless that person is just bonkers rich, and even then it's going to take a lot of time. But an AI can do it in record time. Like when I say, I'm talking about it can computate what it would take a team of humans to do in weeks, months. It can do in minutes, and all it needs is the intelligence level required. It needs that to get to that general intelligence point where it can utilize those tools that are thousands of times faster than what a human can do. That's the next step, dude. That's why AI is such a big deal. And if you're not using it and you're like, let's say if you own a business and you're like, I don't know about that AI crap, I ain't going to use it, you're making a mistake. At the very least, use it to help you with your calendar. And it might start off at first where AI is not helpful to you because it needs to learn like your habits and your behaviors. But eventually, like what my AI, because I have an AI, we have one. It's called Shane. I named it after my brother because it uses his voice.
If it rules the world someday, I guess I got a legacy.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. If it ever breaks containment and gets AGI before the $500 billion Oracle computers do. But my AI, it's called Shane, SHAIN3. It's the third version, and it actually helps me with my calendar. It's attached to my Google Calendar, and it fills out things for me. And because Google Calendar sends reminders, when it fills those things out, Google Calendar then sends me reminders. Sometimes it's off, but after a few months of letting it just run rampant on this one test Google Calendar, it started to become right. It started to suggest things that were actually correct. When to pick up my kids. When my kid had needed certain medication for her heart problem. Doctor's appointments. Even meetings with Shane. My actual brother Shane. So it would literally start to suggest things based on my historic calendar that I set myself. It was starting to suggest those things. Things that I never even suggested to put in there. It was just taking all my calendars and being like, you know what? For a couple of years now, you've been doing this around this time. This will be the most optimal time for you to do it based on the other calendar things. I'm like, oh, interesting. I think you're right. Thanks, bro. So I've been using it for the last year and a half, and it's really helped me be organized. I got extreme ADD. It's like I get distracted so easy. Having something go, hey, don't forget. It's really nice. It's like having a personal assistant that understands my schedule. It's great.
But ideally, that's what AI should be,
right,
for us. So that's very cool. Currently, they're building 10 data centers in Abilene, Texas. This venture, the Stargate venture, it later will expand into more states. The people responsible for this right now, so if it does build Skynet and destroy us all, you can thank Microsoft, NVIDIA, Oracle, OpenAI, and ARM, which is a British semiconductor.
Do you guys understand what I'm saying then is? You have competitors in the tech space. No, I don't think everyone understands this. These are straight up competitors at the top of their game.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, people that are so good at their job that they have sucked up all the smaller people. They have just assimilated any small video card company, and they've become NVIDIA, the juggernaut of graphic processing. Microsoft, Oracle. I mean, these are huge companies, and they've been competing for decades, and they're now all going to get together with one goal. That's crazy. That's crazy to me. And by the way, ARM, NVIDIA, these are straight up direct competitors. Like they do very, very similar.
They're both do the same thing. Yeah. And here's what's interesting: Elon Musk isn't involved.
Oh yeah, he's not. In fact,
for those of you who think that he's in charge of everything that Trump does, he's not in charge.
He actually doesn't like this idea.
He's not even involved.
Yeah, he actually doesn't like this. In fact, if you look at this, this guy Mario Nawfal, he wrote a criticism of the Stargate program, and Elon Musk retweeted it and said exactly. Elon is not a fan of this. This is what Mario said. Sam Altman's grand plan to build Stargate, a $500 billion AI infrastructure exclusively for OpenAI, is already falling apart before it even starts. By the way, saying that, though, the day after the announcement is sort of silly. Like, how do you know it's falling apart? Like, they haven't even gotten started yet.
Well, Elon Musk doesn't like Sam Altman. He hasn't liked him for a long time. And I believe he said... he was having, if you go back and look at it, he said Sam Altman was of the opinion that, I believe it was Sam Altman. He said he thinks that AI should rule the world, that AI should be in charge of us.
That tracks.
And he's like, you're crazy. So we should go back and find that later. But I do believe that he does not like Altman. And Trump even made that comment.
Sam Altman's a little bit nutty, but to be fair, Elon Musk did start OpenAI. That was his project. And he handed it over to Altman and the others. And he said, good luck. He, by his own volition, left OpenAI to do what they're going to do. So the fact that he started it and then he basically gave it away to someone, now he's mad at that person the way they're running it. Not really that fair. It's not. I find it really interesting that my first introduction to AI and AI's first real life test was actually learning how to play against the best Dota 2 players. That was the first test of OpenAI was Dota 2, which is my game. So,
well, Musk sued Altman and OpenAI because basically what he said was they abandoned the company's founding agreement as a nonprofit, and they said they started prioritizing business growth over public interest. And so I think that, you won't see Elon get involved in this. And honestly, I think anything you want to be successful, I think Elon needs to be a part of. I think he's probably the genius of our time. So
yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, but he's got enough stuff to work on. So
he's got plenty enough stuff to work on. And again, you take like 6 of the leading companies in their fields and you give them a blank check. Essentially, I think they'll be fine. And I don't, and thank you. Michael says, don't trust Sam Altman. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I trust him either. Luckily, it's not just him. It's Sam Altman and a lot of other people involved. So, okay.
Although it is his AI.
It is OpenAI, but OpenAI is
they are going to make.
It's the farthest along. Like it makes sense to start with OpenAI and not Microsoft Bing or whatever the hell it's called, Gemini.
Microsoft Bing.
What is that Microsoft's AI called? I forget what you got.
I have no idea.
You know what? Microsoft
but
made a mistake.
I trust Grok a lot more.
They made an AI and they didn't call it the paperclip. They should have just called it paperclip based on like the old paperclip guy that popped up in the corner.
It's terrible. I hated the
Microsoft word paperclip. Like, hey, would you like help with something? Go away.
Yeah,
go away, paperclip.
Yeah, get out of here. You're bothering me.
You know how to make things bold? Get out of here, paperclip. All right.
Yes, I do. You're annoying me.
Yes, stop popping in when I'm trying to click on something. All right. Last thing is we're going to talk about the alien footage. Our stream is actually
great. Not just the footage. No, we shouldn't just talk about the footage. We got to talk about the story.
Yeah, sure.
Did you watch the full interview afterwards?
No, I didn't have time, unfortunately.
Okay, so if you guys were with us last Saturday, it's a shame you didn't watch it because everything you think you know right now is going to be different if you watch that. So what happened last Saturday when we did our show, we said, hey, you guys got to watch. There's going to be this whistleblower. This whistleblower is going to come out with some info. Saturday night, Brian and I watched it. It was terrible. It really was not great. They ended up showing us this egg, which I think Brian's going to show the footage here.
Yeah.
And basically the guy didn't seem credible. It was really choppy. It was weird. I didn't understand where his story came from. And it was a 60-minute News Nation thing. It was pulled from apparently a 2.5-hour interview that had a full interview. And later on in the week, I think it was yesterday or the day before yesterday, they finally put out the entire interview. And when I watched it, I'm like, oh my God, this actually makes sense now. And this guy is credible. So despite anything that, you might have heard or some of the joking around about this guy's crazy eyes and the story makes no sense, if you watch the full thing, all of a sudden you start to say, holy crap, this does seem actually pretty darn credible. So I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brian.
No, yeah. And Shay and I did some research. We found a lot of crazy threads about this topic and clear pictures of the egg, which I'm not sure how credible it is.
Or a egg or another egg or something.
We don't know. To be fair, we don't know how credible any of this stuff is. You know what I mean? Like,
you know what's hilarious? If you watch that interview, remember how we were talking about Mork and Mindy and the eggs? And like Mork showed up to Earth in an egg? Remember we were talking about that?
Yeah, and I was watching Under the Dome, and like those aliens also show up in an egg, like an actual. Looks like an egg.
Here's what's funny: during the interview with Barber, the guy who the comes forward in that interview, which we didn't get to see in the initial one, he talks about the fact, he goes, isn't it weird that Mork and Mindy, Mork came in an egg? And that's what we're seeing. So even he addresses that thing that we talked about. And the fact that so long ago in the late 70s, early 80s, that they would bring this forward, it's possibly that wasn't an accident.
Right.
That they were trying to like prepare humanity in advance with the idea.
That. Imagine they're trying to prepare us with Mork and Mindy.
Yeah. I know it sounds crazy, but I mean, listen, the egg thing doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah.
But let's show them. Some people may not have seen it.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the advertisement to go away because I can't use ad blocker on News Nation because they're a garbage website. But then I'm going to show you guys the full link here. Get ready for it. Here it comes. I can't believe they make you watch a 45-second advertisement. That's so crazy with no skip option. All right, here we go.
Ooh.
The unseen video obtained from a secret UAP craft retrieval program. This extraordinary footage.
Oh my! Are you not saying it? My bad. Is that better?
Clear.
Yep.
Yeah. By the way, I don't know what it is, but anytime someone has a British accent, all of a sudden I take them more seriously.
I know, right? Especially Ross Coulthard. I like him.
I don't know why. All right, here we go.
Shows an egg-shaped object dangling in a sling below the belly of a helicopter.
It looks. Okay, can I be honest with you? Like if I took a shoestring and wrapped it around an egg, and then filmed it in green screen
on my carpet
above my carpet, it would look the exact fucking same.
And then make helicopter sounds.
You know, my mouth.
It would be about the same thing.
It would be the same thing, bro.
Yeah.
They should.
I'm like, this is the best you got.
They should not have hyped this up so much because we're like, what the hell are we looking at, bro? Like, anyways, here we go.
All right, let's play it for a moment. A lot of people would say.
Let's slow this down to take a closer look. That's an egg-shaped UAP suspended from a 150-foot long line. We're told the craft is about 20 feet long. The egg suspended in a cradle. And look how careful the pilot is as they bring their precious cargo into land. Let's freeze frame here to look at one of the clearest images of a UAP ever taken. This is
chicken egg.
No blurry light in a distant sky. The source of the footage putting themselves at incredible risk to record this UAP retrieval. Look at how perfectly smooth the craft is. No markings at all, and no visible means of propulsion or way to see inside. Watch how it rolls, almost graceful as it hits the ground.
Graceful? How does it roll graceful?
In the ropes and canvas from the cradle as it's dropped for pickup. The UAP's final destination.
Can I ask, where is this light source at, dude?
I don't know.
Look at this. Look at this shadow it's casting. You see how big
It's a huge light source. Yeah, I don't know if it's like maybe it's headlights from military vehicles. Maybe. But I will say, and Adam Leader, and thank you, Adam. By the way, Ross Coulthard is not British. He's Australian.
My bad.
Brian doesn't know the difference between Australians and British because he frankly only knows Adam Leader's.
I'm uncultured
accent.
swine.
That's all that matters.
I am uncultured, untraveled swine. I almost exclusively only care about where I live, so that's my problem. My bad, guys.
Okay.
And when I do any accent, for some reason it sounds Russian. No matter what. If I ever I want to go back to my apartment. No, it's Russian. It's Russian.
Every time.
All right, here we go.
Unknown.
Del Taco's new Chipotle chicken
Get out of here,
burrito.
Del Taco. Shut up, Del Taco. You didn't pay
Great.
for that.
Now I'm hungry.
All right.
They didn't pay us for that.
So that was the footage. Now we're going to show a little bit of the interview that happened afterwards.
And by the way, you should go and watch not this interview, the full 2+ hour. Wait, that does say. Does that say 2 hours on the bottom?
That's the same. I'm not going to play the whole thing.
You got the full one. Okay, cool.
Yeah, this is the full one.
That's the one you should watch.
Yes, this is the one I started watching.
And if you're even remotely interested about the alien thing, you need to listen to this guy's whole story. You just have to.
Yeah, it's a long one. That's for sure. All right.
He knows a lot of stuff though to be false.
It's on the News Nation channel. It's called UFO Whistleblower Jack Barber. Okay.
Hello and welcome to Reality Check.
Hello, welcome to Reality Check.
Hello, welcome to Reality Check.
Hello and welcome to Reality Check. I'm doing more of an English accent. Hello and welcome.
You got to do it like Crocodile Dundee. You got to do it like Crocodile Dundee.
Hello and welcome to Reality.
No. That's good. That's not a knife. This is a knife.
Dundee. All right.
Never mind.
Sounds so ignorant when I speak. All right.
Now you're insulting people.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Before we start, I want to tell you a little bit about our sponsor for this week.
Come on.
2-year specialized training schedule where you go to a number of schools. At a certain point in my pipeline, I was approached by some individuals who had a discussion with me and convinced me it might be a good idea to consider becoming an airplane mechanic.
Was that to be your cover?
Yes.
Okay. So
yes,
because I noticed.
Yes.
Now there's a lot of info in here. So, do we have something specific we can pull up, or are we just?
Not really. Actually, I do have a time code. Hold on, let me get to it.
Because he really talks a lot. I mean, there's a lot here, and the thing you probably want to mention is, we'll see when he talks about.
I wrote this down. Right.
Made contact with, in which we were to, and we were getting.
Hold up. Right there.
Secrecy, not secrecy, if you want to look at it that way.
Somebody you discovered was recording these operations in secret.
There are videos of these operations that were captured illegally during these operations that are out there.
You became aware, didn't you?
This is why this is going to feed into our next part of this story. And this is when we talk about the stuff we found on the 4chan leaker.
Okay.
Because there was, and they uploaded also the stuff to Odyssey. Like this is on Odyssey. And it's, oh my gosh.
Well, before you go, that maybe you want to tell the
Odyssey
story.
is the worst website ever. I didn't mean to click back. My bad.
Do you want me to tell his story real quick? Since I don't think we can really do that.
Go ahead. I wanted to show that part of the clip just so I could feed into this. Go ahead.
So Jake Barber, he was he's a guy who is known about non-human intelligence, he says, for over a decade. He basically came into the military. They had him take a job as an airplane mechanic, but he ended up going on all these different things and learning all kinds of stuff. Essentially what happened was he was transporting, they go out on these basically test missions where the U.S. is flying like test vehicles and all kinds of different stuff that he said is very cool, that is made by Americans, by the USA. But at some point they ended up, essentially there was a downed drone that caught everybody by surprise. And when he went to go retrieve it, they started to realize that this is something that's different, but he actually felt overwhelmed by emotion and some sort of, the closer he got to going to pick it up, the more he felt overwhelmed, and he actually started crying while he's flying this helicopter.
Interesting.
And he says he felt like this overwhelming warmth, like his mother, like a feminine type of energy that entered him. And it hasn't left him, I guess, since the incident occurred. And it's like guiding him. He feels protected by it. It's very, very interesting. Listen to the whole conversation. And if you follow the alien, this whole UFO phenomenon, no matter what you believe, the UAP phenomenon, there's this thing called, I think it's called CE3, where essentially people are able to use psionics to control these crafts. Like humans are able to control these crafts with their minds. I know it all sounds crazy, but a lot of the evidence leading up to this stuff and a lot of the things from different stories, if you put them all together, you start to realize it. So Jake Barber actually goes down the road of saying essentially that, yes, there are people who have the capability, and apparently children, and this is going to sound hilarious, left-handed gay men are the best at being able to make this mental connection.
Left-handed gay men
with these things. Left-handed gay men and children, and they're not the only ones. Some regular people, just regular dudes, can do it too, or ladies, but that seems to be the prevalent one. Now, he is no longer attached to these military organizations. He's now started his own, I think it's called Skywatchers, and they're actually going to do what the military has not done. They're going to go out and get one of these UAPs themselves, and they're going to disclose it to the world. That's what he's saying.
Fascinating stuff. Really fascinating.
I hope it happens. He says it's going to happen in the next 12 months.
Yeah. Maybe.
And this journalist, Ross Coulthart, who was skeptical. Okay, Ross was very skeptical about the whole thing. He didn't believe in UFOs, but he's gone down this path. He said he was there and witnessed one of the people in their group take control of a UAP and fly it. Ross, in this interview, when you watch it later on, says that he was there and witnessed the whole thing happen. So, I don't know, man. Pretty convincing. But let's see what your friends over at 4chan have given us.
And because he said, like, there was a lot of unauthorized video and pictures and whatnot, that made me go, well, that lends credit to these 4chan leaks. This is one of the 4chan leaks. It's a video on Odyssey, and I'll just play a little bit of it. It's from the United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs, and it's not a video. It's more of an audio.
You're not playing that damn audio with the voices, are you?
No.
You mean the song Kiss in Helsinki? Okay.
This is not real, by the way. This is stupid.
Yeah.
This is stupid. Can you show the pictures before you show this audio?
Okay, fine. I'll show the pictures. Fine.
Yeah, because this is, as soon as somebody hears this, they're going to go, oh, this is stupid. And they're going to turn it off. Because it is stupid.
It's not.
And it's not real. I'm sorry.
All right. Listen.
It's not.
I'm just like, you saying it's not real.
By the way the guy asked the questions, just listen to the way he asked the questions. That is not the way somebody would ask questions. He sounds like a dude doing two voices and modulating them to create something. The questions are even dumb. So I'm sorry. I listened to 6 minutes of that.
All right.
But the other stuff you have is
Shane's
pretty
a
interesting.
hater. He's haterade right now.
I'm not a hater. I just think that this is intentionally done to mess with people.
So, yeah, maybe it is.
There you go. Right. There's your egg.
So this is another view of that egg. And as you can see, there's some hieroglyphics here on the side. It's almost like this is from Stargate, the TV show.
Ooh.
Stargate.
A prop.
Yeah, or a prop. But here's another. Someone actually took all those symbols and they mapped them out, which I found very interesting. Again, I don't know if any of this. I'm gonna be really clear.
So, do you want to tell them where this?
Yeah, I'm going to read.
Do you want to tell them what this is about? Okay.
Just weird. I don't know if any of this is real or not. And when I watched that video of the shoestring attached to the egg over the carpet, I see that as just as credible as the 4chan post.
I hear you. Well, except the guy showing his face that's telling the story in the video. This is just some anonymous person.
Here's more anonymous eggs, and I'll read some of the 4chan stuff right now. Apparently, this is the cave they were in when they retrieved the UAP. All right, so here's the 4chan stuff, and I'm not going to go through everything they said. It's all sort of a little bit nuts, but I will give as much information as I can here. So it starts off with the video you're about to view features a UAP, unidentified aerial phenomenon, recovered in Antarctica in 2012. In contrast, 2022. Thank you. In contrast to the recently disclosed footage from 2 days ago, the UAP in this video is of ancient origin and was discovered within a cave. Now, that video is this. This is the video. And it's funny because it looks just like the other video, just in reverse.
Yeah, pretty close.
Yeah. something from an egg, and again,
What does it look like? I mean, what is this thing that's holding it? It's obviously lifting it off the ground. That looks like mountains below. What the heck is this thing? The spaceship or what?
I don't know.
What the hell is that?
Some of the stuff they said, I'm not going to show every image, but I'll tell you, this guy did like an AMA, right? After he disclosed this footage. And they go, and here's the questions. The first most upvoted question was, who are you? His answer was, next question.
Of course.
They said, where did you get this video? He said, Antarctica, November 2022. Did you take the video? No. Why does it look extremely similar to the News Nation video? He said, same civilization and same purpose. Why now to release this?
Mystery deepens.
I can't answer that. Dun, dun, dun.
See, he should be able to answer that because the world needs to know. I mean, it's an easy answer.
He says,
can't answer why I'm releasing it now.
See, seems to be of ancient origin. There is no way of getting inside of it, but it doesn't look to be hollow. It's not that heavy. The material is unknown, but it's some kind of metal. They said, can you tell us at least who you worked for and what was your job? He said, the Department of Defense.
Okay.
They asked, same task force as Jake Barber? He said, no. They go, can you share any details whatsoever on the object? He says, seems to be of ancient origin. No way of telling. Can't get inside of it.
No, so answer the same question the same way.
Right. What else? Okay. Here's one.
He said that inside the cave was more of a military installation.
Yeah, he did say
no
that.
images that.
Yeah, he did say that. He also said the video was recorded by the UN Office for Outer Space Affairs, the UNOOSA.
It does exist, but I don't know if it goes on missions.
And it was a team-building exercise between, teams in Europe and America. What else? He goes, got any more videos or photos? He said, many more. You wouldn't imagine.
What does that mean?
I think I will be authorized to post more soon. And this is what makes it for 4chan, because Shane was reading through this. And the response to that was, post them F word. I can't say the word.
It was funny. It was very funny.
It's such a 4chan response. Post them F word.
It was very funny, actually. I think we laughed for a good 2 minutes after hearing that.
For like 2 minutes.
After reading it.
They also said the creature was found in a pod. Did you look at it? He says, I have photos of them. Posted F word. They are.
So wait, so they found a creature, not just.
Well, no.
Yeah,
So they
go
found
ahead.
a separate, like, sleeping pod that was next to the original egg, and
Which a creature's
inside
been
of it was
sleeping
an
in.
8-foot tall, white, long-haired, human, sort of a human face. Yeah, there's something off.
Sounds like a Yeti.
The entity was alive and recuperating from their sleep. Yeah, it sounds like a Yeti to me.
And they've been asleep for like 800 years.
Right.
I think.
Yes, that was 700 or 800 years, something like that. This is the last thing I'll say on this. I thought this is interesting. They said, so there are ranking members with access to this info actively giving authorization for release. He goes, here, there are two groups. As most of you know, one wants disclosure, the other don't. Let's just say the others are presenting you BS. You're getting more interesting and real information in this place. Let's just say I'm one of the good guys. Okay,
I still don't know what any of that means.
You don't know what any of that means either.
I mean, they've been saying that. This thing that frustrates me about the Barber interview is that he says there are people who don't want disclosure. I'm like, listen, then tell us who are the people who don't want disclosure.
Post them after.
Tell us who these people are.
Right.
Like if I've been meaning to think about this. Like whoever controls Skunkworks or whoever controls Lockheed Martin, right? If these are the people, and this is what Barber talks about, basically what this guy's talking, they work for these agencies that are dealing with these NHI crafts, these UFOs, right?
Right.
Why can't they're just people? Why can't you name them?
Right.
You know, if you're going to whistleblow, you should name them. But the government won't let you name them. It's very weird. More information needs to come out. But, I mean, I don't know. What do you think about this 4chan post? I mean, it could be true.
It could be.
But it does talk about an entity. Now, this entity that he's talking about, that's the interview that Brian has. And you can play a little bit for him. Play some. Their audio interview where the guys, and essentially it's supposed to be this creature that they woke up. And now this guy's asking questions. But apparently the alien is just an asshole. Because that's what the alien seems like, is like an asshole.
Yeah.
So if you look at more things in there, he talks about how the aliens think of us as children. And there's actually more than one alien civilization.
Yeah.
And his people, this long-haired alien that they found, they actually came to our planet and beat up the aliens that were enslaving us, and they freed us, right? Because we were a slave race, and now, but we were too much like the ones that created us, these other aliens. I don't know.
Sounds like a bunch of crazy nonsense. That's what it sounds
Basically,
like.
the Enlil and Inaki, the Anunnaki story.
The Anunnaki. Okay. Yeah. So here's a little bit of it. I'm just gonna play a little bit.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
play a couple
Good.
answers.
Thank you for allowing me to ask you these questions once more. My night's kinda tiresome. Okay. By the way, did you read what was said about you on the 4chan forums?
Yes. Yeah.
Did you find it amusing?
Interesting. Good. Questions were strange, but many were different. And good.
Different. That's why the alien talks different.
Now, I know you hate these.
I don't hate. Anger is not an emotion.
300,000 people. By the way,
Don't be.
300,000 people have listened to this now.
If you don't mind, back to the question. Why were you in that? Why were you in that cave alone?
As I said, countless times I was alone.
Yes, but why? I mean, how does it acknowledge they kept you alive? What is it a form of stasis? We know it's not magic.
Humans must evolve alone. Otherwise,
there it is. You must evolve alone.
So stupid.
He was in the. Why are you in the cave? Because you must evolve alone. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Anyways, make of it what you will. Yeah. Believe what you'd like.
I like what Michael said. I hope this recording is fake for the sake of the aliens.
That's true. That's a good point. We don't want it to be right.
Yeah. There was one more thing on this. There was a guy on Twitter, and he is legit. This is what he said. He said, "Oh, sorry, let me show this time." He said, "I'm 99.2% sure." I don't know. I think it's crazy where that 2.2% comes from.
Why did he do 99.2? Yeah. Why'd you do that?
I'm 99.2% sure these photos of the egg are real, referring from the egg that we saw in the shot from News Nation and the egg on 4chan. This is more significant than the videos we've seen in my mind if these are real UAP eggs. And he does.
I gotta tell you,
he does go through it with a forensic level of knowledge on video and photography. Check it out. Pro Pixel Video Analysis Research. He's been around for a minute. He thinks it's real. So,
well, I mean, if you want I know we're laughing here and stuff, but I mean, I do feel like this is real. Like, I do feel like there's non-human intelligence. I do feel like we have these non-human drones. I think this is all true, all this stuff. I'm not sure if I believe there's a couple of alien races, one protecting us and one fighting us. I don't necessarily believe that there's the Eisenhower group working with the bad aliens and then another group working with the good aliens. That sounds a little too Hollywood for me. But I do believe that there's something going on. And I think we're going to find out this year that something else has been living on this planet with us for a long time.
Michael says, Nah, what if we meet the aliens and they're just actually cringe and annoying? What if they're exactly like that? Like, I'm you, they net more intelligence. And we're like, this guy sucks. Get out of here.
Yeah, as soon as we
go back to your planet,
personify
Jerry.
the aliens, they'll end up. Yeah.
Right. All right, listen, guys.
You talked about there being a race on Mars. So that was pretty funny.
Oh yeah, that is going to sum up today's show. I promise next week we are slowly working all the problems out. There were some interlacing problems with the stream, and of course, Shane's camera looks like he's broadcasting from 1993. We're gonna figure all that out. But I appreciate you sticking with us and hanging out with us today. Please do us a favor because we are not monetized. If you would like to support us and feel the need to spend some dough, feel free to go to mixtees.com/brane, BRANE, and go buy one of our t-shirts. Thailand.
Yeah, and thank you guys. Oh yeah, I love it. Please do. Once again, Gen X is the one I got. I love it. And just want to thank you today. Some of the people who were watching with us today: Christy's Corner, Michael Alton, John Burns, Wizard Lives Matter. I love that name, by the way. And Adam Leader and all of you guys who are watching with us today. Thank you for hanging out in the time change. We really appreciate you. We should be back to our normal time next week. And yeah, just share, like, and come back and visit with us again next week.
Yes, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much. And see you next week.
See you guys.